Hey everybody, Billy here. Today's video is a little bit different because I'm doing a travel video. I'm doing my style of travel video, but in Los Angeles. I'm home, but I went to a specific exhibit today, and I wanted to showcase what I saw today. So here I am at home, but giving you a travel video. Excuse me. I went to LACMA, which is the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Is it contemporary? I don't know. Sorry. It's LACMA. It's either contemporary or county. But this is the super famous urban something. Sorry, I'm really bad at this stuff. But anyway, Realms of the Dharma. Basically, there is an exhibit on Buddhist art across Asia, and reserved my tickets for today, and got my nice proof. And this is where the exhibition is being held right now. So, as you can see from the previous video, it's a fairly nice selection of things. On the left, you have some introductory pieces, and on the right, you have the in the middle section, the mouse is pointing at right now. This is where the Mahayana Buddhism and some bits of Theravada Buddhism are. In the right section here, this is where the Vajrayana Buddhism is there. So basically, from this exhibit, you get to see the art that comes from multiple different branches of Buddhism, right? So if you're uninitiated on Buddhism, there are some schools of Buddhism, and it's either Theravada or Mahayana or Vajrayana, which is sort of interchangeable with Tibetan Buddhism. And then there's Zen Buddhism or Chan or Sun, depending on what country you're originating from. So the exhibit shows you all the different styles across all the different cultures and nations, and it was a lot more comprehensive than I thought. So this is I thought this was interesting because this is a model of a stupa. This is a replica of a stupa. And the stupa is basically like a commemorating tower of some sorts. It's basically like a tower, but it's meant to host the Buddha's remains, and it's usually built in the honor of Buddha. And to show you kind of an example, I happened to go to India this year, and here is a stupa that you see in Sarnath, and this is to commemorate the Buddha's first spreading of the Dharma, or first spinning of the chakra wheel. So this is a pretty good, well-preserved form of a stupa, and you can see that it actually quite resembles the round structure fairly well, right? So this is why I wanted to put a particular emphasis on this. And you see, I think this is Avalokiteshvara. This is basically these are some texts that you can see. It's accompanied with some paintings, but more importantly, the letters you see here, these are all the contents of the sutra. So when I went to India, when I went to Sarnath, I saw a lot of Tibetan monks, right? And they're all praying. And the Tibetan monks, oh, I happen to have a video right here. Surprised to find it. But if you see from this video, there we go. So you see this monk flipping the pages of this text. You see the other pages here, and he's basically studying the sutras in this holy site. And this exact text, this exact form of text is what's being demonstrated in here. And it's interesting to see how different cultures have preserved the Buddhist texts. And in Korea, we have a wooden block, which basically is like the printed, like the Gutenberg print press, we have a wooden block print of all the Buddhist sutras. And but other cultures preserve the sutras in their own way, like this. This is a relic from one of the stupas, and it contains basically lotus tree, right? Which lotus flower is important in Buddhism for multiple reasons. It blooms in the mud, so no matter how impure where you might be starting with, as the lotus can bloom, you can also reach enlightenment. And you see the rocky thing here. Now, what would it look like if it was intact? You can find that out in... I don't know why this keeps on not showing me. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yep. So this is what it looks like if it was intact, right? So there's just this sitting form, but you see a little bit of the, lotus in this section right here, right? On the middle left section. And that's basically when these are intact. And you can also see traces of it in the upper right side on the stupa itself. These are some of the these are basically what it would look like had the lotus been intact in the building of a sutra. So that is what I really wanted to highlight for you in this video. And the next one, these are really detailed scenes, and as you can see from the previous picture as well, what I showed you from India, a lot of the stupas have these really ornate details, and obviously a lot of care and a lot of craftsmanship went into this kind of stuff, right? And this is the smaller portion, and this is the bigger portion. And even this, when it comes to sculptures and things like that, Western art is really emphasized, but you can see that in the Indian art forms have really ornate details like this as well. So this is again what I took a picture of in India in Sarnath, and this was from the Museum of Sarnath, and you can see there's a lot of relief, sandstone like this. But anyway, going back to the Los Angeles exhibit, you see these are this is interesting because the right two Buddhas look a little bit different from the leftmost Buddha, right? And that's because the right two Buddhas are sourced from Afghanistan. Why this is important is, at the time when statues were being made, sculptures are being made, there were various styles of it, but it actually happened to be influenced by the Greek style. So because of the international trades at the time, Indian people and the Afghanistan region, they were sort of in the middle of the East and West, and they were able to showcase both parts of the styles of art, right? So the leftmost is from Vietnam, and the right two are sourced from Afghanistan. So you can clearly see how the Greek influence manifests in the statues of Buddhas as well, right? So you can clearly tell that the rightmost Buddha looks a lot more Greek stylistically than the leftmost Buddha. So, well, Bodhisattva anyway. So this is what I wanted to highlight for you. And these are the Theravada art. And why the Theravada art is recognizable, what I wanted to highlight is that in Mahayana, we focus a lot on the Buddhas as well, of course, but we also care a lot about these people called the Bodhisattvas, who are sort of like human beings who could go to nirvana, who could escape this eternal realm of, repeating suffering, but they choose not to because they want to save the rest of humanity and then go into nirvana with the rest of the people. So in Mahayana Buddhism, they are featured very prominently. But in the Theravada tradition, you will see that all these sculptures and all these paintings reflect only one person, Shakyamuni Buddha himself, because Theravada tends to be very focused, laser focused on the Shakyamuni Buddha himself, Gautama Siddhartha, the one person who basically enlightened for all of us. And that's why you see from the Mahayana sections a bunch of different people, bodhisattvas and Buddhas, but in Theravada you mostly see statues of Buddha or people who are practicing diligently. So that's that. And Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, who is a Bodhisattva of compassion. And as you can see, some of these are influenced by Hindu culture. So obviously, because Indian culture is largely Hindu, so there was a lot of assimilation because we're going to talk about it in the later sections. There's some cultural influences when it comes to Buddhism, right? More of the sutra books that I showed you in the earlier video, and I wanted you to take a look at how ornate these are. Pretty cool, right? More Buddhas. And this one I took a video of because you don't see a lot of Buddhist art from Indonesia. But when it comes to art, every culture uses the medium that they happen to have around, right? So a lot of sculptures use gold. A lot of sculptures use other types of stone, like sandstone. But you see, in Indonesia, you find that they use a lot of the volcanic stones. So the quality of the stones are different. So I thought that was interesting because Buddhism is what goes in the vessel of culture. Some wooden ornate sculptures, and now this section is the East Asian, which is China, Korea, and Japan. So on the left, you see the Chinese Buddhism, and into the black deep section, that's the Japanese Buddhism. And then on to the right, you see Korean Buddhism. Buddhism in Korea. Yay! So this is from the Japanese section. This is the death of the Buddha or the nirvana of the Buddha. And this is Bodhidharma, who is basically like the person who brought Zen Buddhism. And Buddhism in Japan. Buddhism was introduced to Japan from Korea in the year 552. Basically, you're going to see this in the next video as well. Because of the proximity to India, China adopted Buddhism first, and then it came to Korea, and then it went to Japan. And Japan, it merged with Shintoism, and in China, 68 CE, right? Way before Japan. And in China, it infused with Taoism, whereas in Japan, it mixed with Shintoism. And for Korea, it is a little bit different because we mixed with our traditional shamanism. So Buddhism in Korea, 372, right? So it goes from west to east, China, Korea, and Japan. And in Korea, Buddhism encountered an indigenous form of shamanism that extended back to the Neolithic period. And there were some policies that didn't want people to practice Buddhism and blah, blah, blah. But nowadays, it's one of the most prominent religions in Korea. So this is the Triptyka Koreana. In Korean, it's called 팔만대장경, and it's a set of more than 81,000 wooden printing blocks for reproducing the entire Buddhist canon, right? It's pretty crazy. And it's a national treasure along with the UNESCO Memory of the World National Treasure. So if you ever have a chance to go to Korea for a Buddhism trip, I think it's well worth the trip. And you should definitely check out 팔만대장경. And now we're in the Vajrayana Buddhism, especially in the Himalayas. Himalayas means basically Tibet, Tibetan Buddhism, but also a lot of it is practiced in Bhutan as well, right? So also some portions of Nepal, but Nepal and India, obviously Hinduism is very strong, but in Tibet and Bhutan, uh, Buddhism is particularly Vajrayana Buddhism influence is very strong. And this is a tanka from the Tibetan Buddhism. Just wanted to have you look at all these sort of seemingly gruesome details, right? Some of these could be, traced back to Kali from Indian and Hindu lore, but rich symbolism here. And woman, man, that duality explored a lot in Tibetan Buddhism. And yeah, Buddha. Why I took this is basically the conclusion of this set of videos, right? So an inscription on this image records that it was made in 1890 and given by one Luang Pakdi, along with his wife and family. So in all these, you notice that the artist is not really important. What's really important is the message that's being conveyed by the Buddhist art, right? But to the religion, for its 5,000 years of existence, that the Buddha's teachings would eventually disappear was a widely held notion, though the exact duration of the Dharma varied among different schools. So in India, Buddhism met a bloom under the King Ashoka's realm. King Ashoka was a very devout Buddhist, and he made sure that the Buddhism flourished in the entire Indian subcontinent. But then came the Islam conflict, and then much of the Muslim influence has erased Buddhism completely in India. And then when India gained India back, what emerged again is Hinduism because it's so deeply entrenched with the culture of India, right? So it is true that Buddhism is somewhat always a religion that's at risk. Why? Because we don't really worship gods, so to speak, right? Yeah, there are some flavors of Buddhism that introduce deities and supernatural beings, but we're a religion that's more focused on our internal development and our own practices. So the Dharma may be gone. It may be disappear, right? Given such predictions, many Buddhists commissioned and donated artworks to perpetuate the teachings and thereby increase their own stores of merit. The inscription on this image ends, may the merit resulting from our making this image be a means for us to reach nirvana, right? And through the work of these arts, I have arrived at Buddhism as a Korean person, right? I grew up with Buddhism, but I never really appreciated Buddhism until I was in my mid to late 30s. But it took that long, but I'm so happy it eventually arrived at me. And now um with this exhibit, what I really wanted to sort of recommit to myself was I will continue this legacy and spread the Dharma to everyone so that we all can be liberated from suffering together. And that's my lengthy review and the travel vlog of the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Is it county? No, it's gonna bug me. Okay, it's LA County Museum of Art. Okay, LACMA's exhibit of The Realms of Dharma. And The Realms of Dharma is available for quite a long time. So you can check out The Realms of Dharma until July 12th of 2026. So quite a long time remaining. And I encourage you, if you're visiting Los Angeles and you're interested in Buddhism, please check it out. If you're in Los Angeles and you happen to be interested in Buddhism, great exhibit to go to. And I hope that you check it out. All right, see you in the next video.